What's up, I'm Antonio, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how I turned moving this shed to the corner of my yard into a one-man job. So we're going to go ahead and start off this project by gutting the shed, completely taking everything out, and I'm moving it to another shed I have on the side of the house, which did take me a couple of days to complete.
Alright, what's up everybody? I'm back. Anyway, it's the beginning of the new year, 2022. Hell yeah. I am continuing this project, moving the shed, and I almost forgot I was supposed to record.
So anyways, I've come up with this idea to create these dollies and place them under the shed in order to move and roll it around. Here's a couple of pictures of what that looks like, and for the first step, I'm going to show you guys how I made them. Here you can see I'm clamping down some 4x4s that I cut roughly to 5 inches or so. Drilled a hole through them with some 5/8 inch Forstner bits and stuck a 5/8 inch threaded rod through them to act as an axle for the tires.
We get our hammer and we're just going to hammer it right in. We made it through. Just like that. It's another day. It's another shining bright day today, and boy do I got something for y'all. So I finally went and I picked up the rest of the tires that I need. So we're gonna go ahead and start off here by gluing these two pieces together. We're gonna go ahead and lather this up real nice with some glue. Make sure it gets all messy there. Just gonna spread that around town. I might have used way too much, but you know what, that's okay. No biggie, no big deal. It'll still work. Then I have a clamp. We're gonna go ahead and clamp it together. Looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that. Now we're gonna go ahead and assemble up our next tires here. So we're gonna put that rod right on through to the tire. Get some handy dandy nuts here and washers. Stick that washer right on there and tighten her up. And we're gonna tighten her right up. And just like that, we have another set of wheels. Alright, so I went ahead and took the liberty of pulling out this here chop saw. We're gonna go ahead and cut up this here piece of 2x6. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it to the same length as this piece of wood here. Alright, so let's take our tape measure. It looks like we have a 7-incher. We got 7 inches of wood for y'all. And I'm gonna say we're gonna want the sidewalls to be roughly 2.5 inches in height. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's one side piece, so it's gonna fit together like that. And we're just gonna glue it together like that.
Alright, and once I have completed that, I decided I needed to do a little bit of yard work and clean up all these leaves where I'm going to be putting the shed. So I sucked them all up with my handy dandy leaf blower and threw it all in the trash.
Check that out, guys. My guesstimations predict that we sucked up at least 99% of those leaves. I fucking love this thing. And that's it. It basically turns all the leaves into sawdust. It's gonna get real dusty here. And that, my friends, is justice.
And once I have the leaves complete, I move all the bricks out of the way to the other end of the yard, and I carefully sweep each of them off with the broom in case there are any spiders. And once all the yard work is complete, I immediately get back to the project, and here I am fashioning a sort of box that's going to slide right onto the dollies, and I will show you guys the purpose of that here in just a minute.
Check out what I made, guys. It's a land board. I made it. What do you guys think? I am totally going to turn that into a skateboard, one way or another. That is a good idea. I decided to do another cross in the opposite direction because these wheels are going to serve two purposes. Once we are done rotating it, we're going to have to pull these back out and turn these the opposite direction like so that the shed can move forward and backwards. So I thought, well, if I nailed another one across, that would be a very quick and simple solution to use these dollies to both rotate and move the shed forward and backwards.
And this is the highly anticipated moment that we've all been waiting for. We're finally going to test out these dollies, see what they're made of, and start off by rotating the shed.
And we are finally ready. This is the moment we have been waiting for. We have both back dollies set and ready to go. And it looks like they're holding up pretty damn well, as a matter of fact. And we have the front dollies in place as well. Those ones are holding up just as well. And over here, I have a come along. So what I'm gonna do is, I think you guys probably already have an idea of what I'm gonna do. We're gonna attach the come along to the chain and we're going to rotate it as far as we possibly can. And then once we do that, I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way too, just a heads up. And then we're gonna push it back as far as we can. And I think we're ready to start rotating. I got the chain all linked up to the tree here. And all I really did is I got a 2x4. I nailed it to the most solid part of the shed here and wrapped a chain around that, which is of course temporary.
And now we begin the rotation process. Slowly but surely, I rotate it with a come along, a little bit at a time. This does take quite a while, but I eventually get the job done. You could see me rotating the dollies a little bit and readjusting the chain. And I'm doing this so that we can pull the shed straight back once we are done rotating it.
Alright, so it looks like we have got the shed a pretty good amount back. You can see the come along is working beautifully. The tires are working beautifully. No error so far. So far so good. This is my mom. Say hi. And look at all this room we have.
On this part, I decided to try and rotate the shed with my blazer, which turned out being a huge mistake because I could not see the dollies and I inevitably ended up bending the tire hub. So I'm replacing the tire here, but fortunately they are only $8 a piece from Harbor Freight.
Alrighty, I got her all chained up here to the blazer. We're gonna go ahead and pull the come along here and see if it works.
So I ended up trying this one more time, but instead I attached the come along to the two towing hooks on the front of my blazer, and the other end goes to a 2x4 attached to the front corner of the shed. And with minor adjustments to the dollies, this ended up working like a charm. For the final step, I attach the chain to the rear end of the shed and we proceed to pull it back once again.
So I had to record this because the last time I was trying to record this part, my phone kept dying. We did manage to get the shed back pretty far and we accomplished most of our mission. So, as you can see right here, it will fit without those two branches. So I'm going to go ahead and get working on cutting up these branches and we're going to get rid of it. Anyway, also because it's an American elm, or as most people like to call it, a Chinese elm. So it's essentially a giant weed that we need to get rid of. I went ahead and grabbed my pole saw here. We're going to go ahead and extend this out. We're going to get up on top of the shed and we're going to cut some branches.
So I get up on the shed here and start cutting these branches, and let me tell you, working this pole saw is quite the workout. It is the next day once again, and these are all the branches. I actually ended up getting the chainsaw started up and we cut up these branches real nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut some more branches down today and chop them up with the chainsaw. So now I decide to whip out the chainsaw, and the one I'm using here is a Pull-In Pro, and I absolutely love this thing. I have a freshly sharpened chain on there and it's slicing through those branches like butter.
Alright, here we are. We got this little stub left. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this stub and move on to the next one.
And after all that cutting, we get down to our final cuts, cutting off the biggest chunks of these branches here, which in my opinion is very satisfying.
And we finally have it complete. We got these two branches cut down just as planned. And if you look here on the side, it looks like the shed will slide right in like a glove. Here's all the branches on the ground. We got a big old pile, which I'm gonna go ahead and cut up here shortly. And that's pretty much it. So I went ahead and cleaned up back here. I got all the branches picked up, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this rake and I'm gonna level out the ground a little bit. Fortunately, it's not at a super major slope. If it looks like that, it may be due to the fisheye lens on my GoPro here. I'll go ahead and level it out, and then I'll be right back. And here we have it, guys. I went ahead and raked this up pretty dang good. It looks all nice and level and even. And once again, I think the next step in the process here will be to strap it up to this tree once again. We're gonna pull the shed back the rest of the way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We have the come along hooked up. We got the tires down here, and we got the branches cleaned up. The ground leveled out. All the branches are here in a pile, and we got the front tires on. You can see them down here. So I think we're ready to pull it with the come along and see if this works. Now I notice that this side is a little bit too close to the fence. I'm worried it's gonna hit this post. So I have these tires down here slightly turned to hopefully turn the shed in this direction a little bit. We have some room to spare, as you can see. So let's give this a shot and hope it works. And it looks like it has worked out in my favor. We are going to clear this post. It's actually a much tighter fit than I had expected it to be. I thought there would be more like a foot of room on each side, but there's more like 5 inches once I take this board off on each side. Either way, it's still gonna fit. We'll have much more room in the yard. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this project.
And here I take one last crack at it with a come along, pulling it back as far as I can now that the big branches are out of the way. It's clear for the shed to pull back, and it looks like everything works out beautifully.
And we have done it, guys. We have finally finished this project. I almost thought it would never come to an end. I am so happy right now. Although I did think the shed was going to go back a little bit farther than it did, but I'm more than happy with where it's at. We have plenty of room back here. Looks like this little branch here is what came in the way, but you know what? Everything worked out perfectly fine. We have a little bit of space back here, which I'm probably going to use to store these logs. Look at all this room we have up here. Once I get rid of these branches here, I have more than enough room to do all my wood projects and make videos for you guys. Overall, I'm really happy that this project was a success. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it for now, and I will see you guys next video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell.